नितिलभविष्टम विष्णुपाद रशत शिशिमार भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नितिलभविष्टम विष्णुपाद रशत शिशिमार शिल भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नितिलभविष्टम विष्णुपाद रशत शिशिमार शिल भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। नितिलभविष्टम विष्णुपाद रशत शिशिमार भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज Nitilapa Vishnu Vishnupada Rashita Shimad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitilapa Vishnu Vishnupada Rashita Shimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitilapa Vishnu Maha Bhagavat Srila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Nitilapa Vishnu Srila Satchirananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki Jai. नित्य प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री रघुनाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुगौरिया गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर प्रसाद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट बरात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। सारथ-दार्शनी वृत्ति की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणीति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिशे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तरभक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदन्तस्तो यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमां चरणान्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृन्द। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, everybody. Ganga Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, Krishna Premavati Didi, Gargaraj Ji, Indira Mataji, and everybody else watching, Hari Bol. So now that we've finished this chapter 47 of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam on Brahmar Gita, Nrihari Prabhu and Bhavatarini Mataji, they are going to sing the Bumblebee song that they composed, and that they Bhavatarini Mataji that she composed, and that they also performed for Gurudev, right?
Oh, yes.
Multiple times also, right? I remember, yes. Wow, wonderful. So yeah, and then after that we will continue our Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam reading. So I'll give it to them now. So you can come. Yes. Right. So you can sit in front of, yeah, you can sit in this. I'll bring another chair. You want the little one? Okay. Whatever one you like.
Will this pick up my voice and the guitar and his voice?
Yeah.
Nama Om Viśvanātha
Krishna
Prasthaya
Prasthaya
Bhutale
Bhutale
Śrīmati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namo Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachami Nirvishesha Samavadi Paschachati
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya
Radhikaya Priyatni Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Namo
Vishnu.
My dear Bumblebee, let me warn you, don't touch me. You are the unreliable servant of an unreliable master. Krishna kissed us, then he left altogether. I don't want any messages from that boy of blue. Krishna is just like you. He cannot be true, my dear Bumblebee. Don't touch me. We don't know why one like him has captivated Lakshmi. We are not such fools as she. Our mistake won't be repeated by Krishna and his messenger. We will no longer be cheated. Our mistake won't be repeated. You foolish Bumblebee, you are trying to satisfy me by singing of Krishna's glories, but to us they are just old stories. all about Krishna we know very well, much more than you could ever tell. Krishna is now in the city, surrounded by you women so pretty. If you want to sing of him, then go to them. Bumblebee, don't touch me. Doomed by Krishna's enchanting words sweet, we can only think of him and constantly weep. Krishna or you, I cannot believe. We gave everything up, only to grieve. Do not speak of him. It gives only pain. Do you think that we can place our faith in him again? Do not speak of him. It gives shame, you foolish bumblebee. You are trying to satisfy me. You're trying to flatter me with words so sweet, trying to place your head under my feet. I know the trick that you are trying to play. You're the greatest trickster's messenger today. So my dear bumblebee, please leave me. Bumblebee, my dear bumblebee, please leave me. Please leave me. Wait, Bumblebee, come back. Don't tell Krishna I said those things. I didn't mean them.
That was wonderful. Really beautiful. Thank you so much.
It's from Prabhupada's Krishna book.
Okay, wow.
And it's only half of her talking to the bumblebee because he comes back.
Okay, yes.
And Gurudev said, when I finish translating my 10th canto of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, your bumblebee song will be this long. So I suppose I have to finish the other half.
Okay. I'm not sure if you could hear that, but Bhavatarini Mataji was saying that she wrote that based off of Srila Prabhupada's Krishna book, and it's the first half of the Brahmar Gita. And Gurudev said, "What? That when he does his 10th canto, which we read, Gurudev said that he'll make it much longer when he finishes his Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10th canto.
My bumblebee song will be this long."
Wonderful. Indira Mataji says that was such a treat. All right. Thank you so much. Haribol. Haribol. Okay, Haribol, Haribol. Thank you so much. Haribol. All right, everybody. So now we will continue with our Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam reading. We're continuing at the next chapter. Wait, what is it? One second. Let me just open it up. I'll share my screen again. Chapter 48. Okay. Okay, so chapter 48. Krishna pleases his devotees. 1 second, I'm just drinking some water. Shri Shuka Uvacha Atavi Gyaya Bhagavan Sarvatma Sarvadarshana Sairandriya Kamataptaya Priyam Ichan Griham Yayo. Shukadev Goswami said, next, after assimilating Uddhav's report, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the omniscient soul of all that be, desired to satisfy the serving girl Trivakra, who was troubled by lust. Thus he went to her house. Sārārtha-darśinī commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. In this chapter, Krishna glorifies Kubja, visits Ṭhākura, and sends him to Hastinapur after hearing his praises. Understanding in detail what was spoken by Uddhav, Krishna had actually already reconciled everything in that regard. The word Bhagavan, Supreme Lord, indicates that Krishna, by his inconceivable powers and opulences, had already gone to Vraj in a separate manifestation, even while continuing to live in Mathura. It is implied that Krishna did this to satisfy everyone's desires, since he is the supreme soul of all. He is the Sārātma. To reconcile the situation for Uddhav, Krishna appeared as omniscient, Sarva-darshan, explaining to him the confidential mystery of his dual manifestations while appearing to Uddhav in his manifestation of separation. Then, in order to keep the promise he had previously made, Krishna went with Uddhav to the house of Kubja, as stated in the words beginning Sairandriya, serving girl. Maharho paskarar adhyam kamopayo pabrimhitam muktadama patakabhir vitana shayanasanai dupai surabhibhir dipai srakandhar apimanditam. Trivakra's home was opulently appointed with expensive furnishings and replete with sensual, what's that word? Accoutrements. I don't know what that means. Means an additional item of dress or equipment. Okay. Okay, so it was opulently appointed with expensive furnishings and replete with sensual accoutrements meant to inspire sexual desire. There were banners, rows of strung pearls, canopies, fine beds, and sitting places, and also fragrant incense, oil lamps, flower garlands, and aromatic sandalwood paste. Commentary. Kubja's house was filled with abundant paraphernalia appropriate for sexual enjoyment, including explicit sexual pictures and herbal aphrodisiacs to excite lust. Griham tamayantamavekshya sasanat sadhya samutaya hijata sambrama yato pasangamya sakibirachutam sabhajayam asa sarasanadibhi. When Trivakra saw him arriving at her house, she at once rose from her seat in a flurry. Coming forward graciously with her girlfriends, she respectfully greeted Lord Achyuta by offering him an excellent seat and other articles of worship. Commentary. Kubja offered Krishna a suitable seat and other objects of worship. Tato davasa dutaya bhipujito nyashi darur urvyam abhimrisha chasanam Krishno piturnam shayanam mahadhanam viveshaloka charitanyanuvrata. Uddhav also received a seat of honor, since he was a saintly person, but he simply touched it and sat on the floor. Then Lord Krishna, imitating the manners of human society, quickly made himself comfortable on an opulent bed. Commentary. The phrase Nyashidad Urvyam, he sat on the ground, implies that Uddhav felt that it was improper for him, as Krishna's servant, to sit on a seat offered by the hand of his beloved. Therefore, Uddhav touched the asan with his hand to honor Kubja's offer, and then he sat on the floor. The word shayanam, bed, means that Krishna made himself comfortable on a bed located on the inner chambers of Trivakra's home. Samajanale padukula bhushana sragandhatambula sudhasavadhibhi prasadhitatmo pasasaramadhavam savredalilotsmita vibhramekshitai. Trivakra prepared herself by bathing, anointing her body, and dressing in fine garments, by putting on jewelry, garlands, and perfume, and also by chewing betel nut, drinking fragrant liquor, and so on. She then approached Lord Madhav with shy, playful smiles and coquettish glances. Commentary. Kubja prepared her body for enjoyment by applying Aguru perfume and other items. Ahuya kantam navasangamahriya vishankitam kankana bhushite kare pragrihya shayam divesha ramaya reme nule parpana punyaleshaya. Calling forward his beloved, who was anxious and shy at the prospect of this new contact, the Lord pulled her by her bangled hands onto the bed. Thus he enjoyed with that beautiful girl, whose only trace of piety was offered ointment to the Lord. Commentary. The two words Navasangama Hriya, shy with a new contact, and Vishankitam, fearful, indicates that Trivakra was in fact a virgin girl at this point. Though Kubja was beautiful, she was protected because of her hunchback. Kubja had accumulated a trace of piety because she had offered unguents to Krishna. But she did not have heaps of pious credits like the Sadhan-siddha gopis in Vraj and the women of Mathura. Sanangatapta kuchayorurasas tatakšnor jigrantyananta. Oops, I think this is a different meter. Sanangatapta kuchayorurasas tatakšnor jigrantyananta charanena rujo mrijanti torbhyam stanantaragatam parirabhyakantam Anandamurtimajaharati dhirgataptam. Simply by smelling the fragrance of Krishna's lotus feet, Trivakra cleansed away the burning lust Cupid had aroused in her breasts, chest, and eyes. With her two arms, she embraced between her breasts her lover, Sri Krishna, the personification of bliss. And thus she gave up her long-standing distress. Commentary. Kubja removed the burning pain of her breast, chests, and eyes by touching and smelling Krishna's lotus feet. Saivam kaivalyanatang tang prapya dushprapya mishvaram angaragarpane naho durbhagedam ayachata. Having thus forgotten the hard-to-get Supreme Lord by the simple act of offering him body ointment, unfortunate Trivakra submitted to that Lord of freedom the following request. So she submitted. Commentary. Srimati Trivakra prayed to Krishna, her exclusive Lord. Please enjoy only with me and not with any other woman. Because Krishna was not prepared to grant such a because Krishna was not prepared to grant such a benediction, Trivakra is described here as unfortunate, Durbhaga. That's a pretty tall order, a request. Sahusyatam iha preshta dinani katichinmaya Ramaswanotsahe tyaktum sangam tem buruhekshana. Trivakra said, "O beloved, please stay here with me for a few days more and enjoy. I cannot bear to give up your association, O lotus-eyed one." Commentary. Trivakra said, "Please stay for some days in my inner chambers and do not go out. All arrangements have been made in this house for drinking and eating." There are two readings. There are two readings of Saho Ushyatam, stay with me, and Aho Ushyatam, oh please stay. Okay, it either means stay with me or oh please stay. Saho Ushyatam or Aho Ushyatam. Tasyai kama varam datva manayitva chamanadha sahodhavena sarvesha swadhama gamad ridhimat. Promising her the fulfillment of this lusty desire, considerate Krishna, Lord of all beings, paid Trivakra his respects and then returned to his own supremely opulent residence. Commentary. The words Kama Varam Dattva indicates that Krishna promised Trivakra he would fulfill her lusty desires even though she was a common woman. Honoring her, Manadha, means that before leaving, Krishna took the opportunity to show her respect and told Kubja, "Continuing to indulge in enjoying unrestrictedly will not be desirable for us because it will simply create evil gossip." Krishna came and left with Uddhav in order to prevent such gossip, since Uddhav was famous everywhere as the crest jewel of proper behavior. From previous explanations, it should be understood that Kubja is an expansion of Krishna's Bhu-Shakti. So Krishna was just enjoying with his Bhu-Shakti. Durardhyam samaradhya Vishnum sarveshwareswaram yo vrinitte manograhyam asatvat kumanishyaso. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Lord of all lords, is ordinarily difficult to approach. One who has properly worshipped him and then chooses the benediction of mundane sense gratification is certainly of poor intelligence, for he is satisfied with an insignificant result. Commentary. In relation to this incident, Shukadev Goswami instructs those persons who are worshipping Krishna in the mood of being a lover. The person who worships Krishna for material happiness is a fool. However, if one worships Krishna with the intent to fully please Krishna's senses, and by so doing, if one also gets happiness in the process, there is no fault. In such a situation, it should be understood that one has cut off all material attachment, desiring only pure devotional service. I just wrote something about this last night, this topic. Akrura bhavanam Krishna saharamodhava Prabhu kinchit chikirshayam pragar akrura priyakamyaya. Then Lord Krishna, wanting to have some things done, went to Akrura's house with Balaram and Uddhav. The Lord also desired to please Akrura. Commentary. Krishna went to Akrura's house with a desire to please Akrura and engage him in service, since the order of the master is pleasing to the servant. Satanara varasheshtan aradviksha sabhandavan pratyuthaya pramudita parishvajabhinandya cha na nama Krishna Ramam cha satarapyabhivandita pujayam asavidhivat kritasana parigrahan. Akrura stood up in great joy when he saw them, his own relatives and the greatest of exalted personalities, coming from a distance. After embracing them and greeting them, Akrura bowed down to Krishna and Balaram and was greeted by them in return. Then, when his guests had taken their seats, he worshipped them in accordance with scriptural rules. Padavane janiapo dharayan shirasa nripa arhanenam barar devyar kandasrag bhushanottamai architva shirasa namya padavanka gato mrijan Prashrayan vanato krura Krishna Rama apashata. O king, Akrura bathed the feet of Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, and then poured the bathwater on his head. He presented them with gifts of fine clothing, aromatic sandalwood paste, flower garlands, and excellent jewelry. After thus worshipping the two lords, he bowed his head to the floor. He then began to massage Lord Krishna's feet, placing them on his lap, and with his head bowed in humility, he addressed Krishna and Balaram as follows. Commentary. Akrura put all the water that he used to wash their feet on his head. Then, with both hands, he gently massaged their feet. Dishtya papo hata kamsa sanugovam idam kulam Bhavadbhyam udhritam kritrad turantachcha samedhitam. Akrura said, "It is our good fortune that you two lords have killed the evil Kamsa and his followers, thus delivering your dynasty from endless suffering and causing it to flourish. Yuvam pradhana purusho jagadhetu jaganmayo Bhavadbhyam na vina kinchit param asti na chaparam. You both are the original supreme person, the cause of the universe and its very substance. Not the slightest subtle cause or manifest product of creation exists apart from you. Not the slightest subtle cause or manifest product of creation exists apart from you." Commentary. Akrura said, "Why say this dynasty of yours when you are the cause of the whole universe? Because the one Lord is appearing in two forms, he is addressed in the dual form, Yuvam." Akrura said, "Thus, you alone are the Pradhan, and you alone are the Purusha. You alone are the cause and effect. You alone are the cause and the effect. By negation, Akrura expresses the same idea. Without you, there is no cause and no effect." Hari Bol. Sorry, didn't see. Atma srishtamidam vishvam anvavishya svashaktibi iyate bahuda brahman shruta pratyaksha gocharam. O Supreme Absolute Truth, with your personal energies, you create this universe and then enter into it. Thus, one can perceive you in many different forms by hearing from authorities and by direct experience. Commentary. Akrura said, "The one Supreme Lord, through the form of the universe, becomes many." That is expressed in this verse. Having produced this universe, you enter into it and reside there. You are perceived through various forms, such as the demigods, Gandharvas, humans, and cows, by direct perception and by hearing from scripture. Yatahi bhuteshu charachareshu mahyadayo. Oh God, is this a different meter? Yatahi bhuteshu. No. Yatahi bhuteshu charachareshu Mahyadayo yonishu bhanti nana evam bhavan kevala atma yonishvatmatma tantro bahuda vibhati. Just as the primary elements, earth and so on, manifest themselves in abundant variety among all the species of mobile and immobile life, so you, the one independent supreme soul, appear to be manifold among the variegated objects of your creation. Commentary. This verse uses an analogy to explain how manifold varieties expand from one Lord. Ṭhākura said, just as material bodies are manifest with various forms from the causal material elements like earth and water, so you, the one independent Lord, become many as the multitude of visible objects in this universe. Srijasya tolum pasipasi vishvam rajastama sattva gunai svashaktibhi nabhadyasetar gunakarma bhirva jnanatmanaste kvacha bandha hetu. You create, destroy, and also maintain this universe with your personal energies, the modes of passion, ignorance, and goodness. Yet you are never entangled by these modes or the activities they generate. Since you are the original source of all knowledge, what could ever cause you to be bound by illusion? Commentary. Ṭhākura said, therefore, you are the one supreme Lord of the universe. You are not bound up by the living entities by karma and the three modes of nature. Krishna replies, how is it that I am not bound up? Ṭhākura answered, as you are the embodiment of knowledge, what is the question of being bound up by ignorance? Ignorance exists for the living entities, but not for you. Dehadupadher anirupitatvar bhavo na shakshan na bhidatmana syat ato na bandhastavanaiva moksha syatam nikamas tvaino vivekha. Since it has never been demonstrated that you are covered by material bodily designations, it must be concluded that for you there is neither birth in a literal sense nor any duality. Therefore, you never undergo bondage or liberation, and if you appear to, it is only because of your desire that we see you in that way, or simply because of our lack of discrimination. Krishna said, if there is no ignorance in me, then where does this body of mine, a product of ignorance, come from? Ṭhākura said, your body is not designated as coming from ignorance by those who know the scriptures. Therefore, you have no birth or material existence like the living entities. If your body appears to be material, it is only an appearance of birth like the living entities, since you are actually independent. As you do not have a material body born of ignorance, you do not take birth from a father's semen like an ordinary living entity. Rather, your birth is just your divine appearance. For you, there is no difference between body and soul. Your body is you, as proved by the statement, Deha Dehi Vibhagoyam Neshvare Vidate Kvachit. There is no distinction between the body and the soul of the Supreme Personality of Godhead at any time. That's Lagu Bhagavatamrita 15342 from Kurma Purana. Brahman, transcendental to knowledge and ignorance, there is no bondage or liberation for you. Krishna, but my bondage and liberation do occur, as when I'm bound to a mortar by my mother, or I'm delivered from Kaliya's lake. Ṭhākura, these do indeed occur, but only because you do not prohibit them from occurring. Why do you accept bondage and liberation? You do so of your free will, because of their appropriateness by meditation for meditation by us, your devotees. Since you enact this bondage and liberation in full knowledge, they are not at all caused by illusion, For him who is knowledge itself, there is no bondage to or liberation from this world, which is produced by ignorance. Tvayodito yam jagato hitaya yada yada veda pata purana badheta pashanda patarbhis tada bhavan sattva gunam bhiparti. You originally enunciated the ancient religious path of the Vedas for the benefit of the whole universe. Whenever that path becomes obstructed by wicked persons following the path of atheism, you assume one of your incarnations, which are all in the transcendental mode of goodness. Commentary. Ṭhākura said, though your personality in pastimes transcends the material modes, whenever the ancient path of Dharma enunciated by you is disturbed by the demons, you appear in the universe to increase sattva gun in order to maintain the righteous by protecting the path of religion. Satvam prabodhya vasudeva grihe. One second. Satvam prabodhya vasudeva grihe vatirna swangshena bharamapanetumihasi bhume akshohini shatavadhena suretarangsha ragyam amushya chakulasya yashovitanvan. You are that very same Supreme Person, my Lord, and you have now appeared in the home of Vasudeva with your plenary portion. You have done this to relieve the earth's burden by killing hundreds of armies led by kings who are expansions of the demigod's enemies, and also to spread the fame of your dynasty. Commentary. You have appeared along with your expansion Balaram in the house of Vasudeva to relieve the burden of the earth by killing the hundreds of demoniac kings who are expansions of the enemies of the demigods. Adeshano vasataya kalabhuri bhaga yasarvadeva pitribhuta nrideva murti yat padashocha salilam trijagat punati satvam jagad guru radhoksha jaya pravishta. Today, O Lord, my home has become most fortunate because you have entered it. As the supreme truth, you embody the forefathers, ordinary creatures, human beings, and demigods, and the water that has washed your feet purifies the three worlds. Indeed, O Transcendent One, you are the spiritual master of the universe. Commentary. Ṭhākura said, now that you, the Supreme Lord and embodiment of all the demigods, have entered our home, it has become blessed. Ka panditas twaraparang sharanam samiyad bhakta priyadrita gira suhrida kritagyat sarvan dadhati suhrido bhajato bhikamam atmanamapyupachaya pachayo nayasya. What learned person would approach anyone but you for shelter when you are the affectionate, grateful, and truthful well-wisher of your devotees? To those who worship you in sincere friendship, you reward everything they desire, even your own self, yet you never increase or diminish. Commentary. Ṭhākura said, what learned person would surrender to anyone other than you who are true to your word, having kept your promise to come to my house after killing Kamsa? You are the well-wisher of your devotees and act accordingly. You are kritagya, you are very grateful for whatever little worship a devotee offers, and even if the devotee forgets, you do not. As the friend of he whose mind is spotless and free from material desires, and he who worships you in friendship, you give whatever he desires. Even if they do not desire something, you also give that. Though you give so much, you are not finished, for you give even yourself. Krishna may object, but if I give even myself, will I not be left with But if I give even myself, will I not be left with nothing? Ṭhākura answers, no, For you, there is never increase or decrease. Even though all objects in millions of universes are brought to you as offerings by millions of Brahmas and other demigods, still you do not increase. And though you give everything to your devotees, including even yourself, you do not decrease. This is because you possess inconceivable, unlimited energy. Dishtya janardana bhavan ihana pratito yogeshwarar api durapagati sureshai chindyashuna sutakalatra dhanaptageha denadi moharashanam pavadhiyamayam. It is by our great fortune, Janardhan, that you are now visible to us. For even the masters of yoga and the foremost demigods can achieve this goal only with great difficulty. Please quickly cut the ropes of our illusory attachment for children, wife, wealth, influential friends, home, and body. All such attachment is simply the effect of your illusory material energy. Commentary. Ṭhākura said, by your good fortune, we can directly perceive you. Ityarchita sangstutascha bhaktena bhagavan hari akururam sasmitam praha irbhi sammohayan iva. Shukadeva Goswami continued, thus worshipped and fully glorified by his devotee, that Supreme Lord Hari smilingly addressed Ṭhākura, completely charming him with his words. Commentary. Krishna somewhat bewildered Ṭhākura by increasing his awareness of his opulences. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Tvam no Guru Pitrivyascha Shlagyo Bandhuscha Nityada Vayam tu rakshaposhyascha anukampya prajahiva. The Supreme Lord said, you are our spiritual master, paternal uncle, and praiseworthy friend. And we are like your sons, always dependent on your protection, sustenance, and compassion. Commentary. Krishna said, we are like your sons. Bhavadvida mahabhaga nishevya arhasattama shreyaskamar nribhir nityang deva swarta nasadhava. Exalted souls like you are the true objects of service and the most worshipable authorities for those who desire the highest good in life. Demigods are concerned with their own interests, but saintly devotees never are. Commentary. Krishna said, O Ṭhākura, even from the ordinary point of view, you deserve our honor. But from the transcendental perspective, you are most worshipable because you are a first-class Vaishnava. This is stated in this verse. Krishna said, among those who are worthy of worship, you are most worshipable. Ṭhākura replied, But isn't it a well-established fact that men should worship the demigods? Krishna, the demigods are basically self-interested. They are Sārārtha. But the devotees are not. They are primarily interested in benefiting others. Nahyam mayani tirtani na deva mrichila maya te punatyurukalena darshanad eva sadhava. No one can deny that there are holy places with sacred rivers, or that the demigods appear in deity forms made of earth and stone. But these purify the soul only after a long time, whereas saintly persons purify just by being seen. Are not the holy waters worthy of worship? Shaking his head, Krishna said, No, though certainly the holy waters and demigods purify, but that is very different from the purification through the devotees. The holy waters give purification by prolonged service, but the devotees give purification just by seeing them. Sabhavan suhridam vaina shreyan shreyaschakirshaya jigyasartam pandavanam gachasva tvam gajavayam. You are indeed the best of our friends. So please go to Hastinapur and, as the well-wisher of the Pandavas, find out how they are doing. Commentary. Krishna said, because you are our well-wisher, being our uncle, and because you act for others' welfare, being a devotee, you should do this. Go to Hastinapur for your benefit. It may also be taken as gachasva, O relative, please go for their benefit. Do you remember before Viśvanātha Ṭhākura said, because Uddhav made an offense to all the Vrajavasis, especially the gopis, when he was just moving his chariot without stopping, and even though the gopis were trying to obstruct him, and he didn't even, there was no remorse, he wasn't begging forgiveness or anything like that, he was just moving on. So for this reason, Krishna banished him. He wasn't able to stay with him. Pitaru parate bhala sahamatra sudukhita anita swapuram ragya vasanta iti shruma. We have heard that when their father passed away, the young Pandavas were brought with their anguished mother to the capital city by King Dhritarashtra, and that they are now living there. Commentary. Krishna said, I have heard that they are living with King Dhritarashtra. Teshu rajambika putro bhratri putreshu dinadhi samona vartate nunam dushputra vashagondadrik. Indeed, weak-minded Dhritarashtra, the son of Ambika, has come under the control of his wicked sons, and therefore that blind king is treating his brothers or sons fairly. He is not treating his brothers' sons fairly, Gacha jani hitad vritam adhuna sadva sadhuva vigyaya tad vidhasyamo yatasham suhridam bhavit. Go and see whether Dhritarashtra is acting properly or not. When we find out, we will make the necessary arrangements to help our dear friends. Ityakuram samadishya Bhagavan Haririshvara Sankarshanodhavabhyam vai tata swabhavanam yayo. Shukadev Goswami continued. Thus fully instructing Ṭhākura, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari then returned to his residence, accompanied by Lord Sankarshan and Uddhav. Thus ends the commentary on the 48th chapter of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, for the pleasure of the devotees, in accordance with the previous acharyas. Wow, this chapter was like the polar opposite of the previous chapter, wasn't it? Like the two most extreme differences. All right, so tomorrow we will read chapter 49, Ṭhākura's mission in Hastinapur. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Guru Dev ki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada ki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai Nityalla Pravishta Mahabhagavat Shila Gorkishoras Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Nityalla Pravishta Shila Satchirananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki Jai Nityalla Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Shri Rupa Anuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dashagunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Ṭhākura ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki Jai Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Shri Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai Sārārtha-darśinī Vritti ki Jai Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Oh, and Prajumna Prabhu, this is Bhanu Swami's translation. Haribol, everybody.